Welcome. Thanks for joining us for another Bear Creek conversation. What we've been trying to do in this series of videos is just to give us the opportunity to have a conversation with someone that we might normally bump into in the hallways of Bear Creek when we gather for worship and for Bible study on Sunday mornings. And just to give us a chance to hear, what is God doing in their lives? How is he encouraging them? How is he growing them? How is he working through them? And to be encouraged by that ourselves and challenged to take the next step in our own discipleship with the Lord Jesus. And today I'm going to get to have a conversation with Ruth Bustos. And it's interesting because I actually met Ruth for the first time, not on our church campus,
That's right.
but I actually met during one of our online worship services.
That's right.
When there was a time when we were asking for prayer requests, Ruth posted a request. And it was a very unique request. You asked for us to pray because you were leaving, I think the very next day, if I'm remembering. It was at least just a couple of days. Yeah, it was. So on a Sunday morning says, tomorrow I'm leaving to go to New York City to work as a nurse in the hospitals there.
Correct.
And I was amazed. And so we had just a brief chance to interact a little bit there and to hear about what was going on. But I'd love for you to share just about how did you get connected to that opportunity to serve there in New York and
Right.
just what happened when you were there.
And that's part of everything that I want to share with you guys. It just came, I was not looking for it. I had a full-time job here that I actually loved doing, what I love doing, pediatric nursing.
Wow.
I have 3 kids, so never thought that I would ever leave them. But I had a friend that got the phone call, and I always said, I can't do that. But then the more that I started hearing how everything was just going on, everything that was going on over there, I just felt a calling. I felt like I had to do it. I can't explain it. I was very nervous. I was scared to leave my kids, first of all.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
If I am completely honest with you, I did not feel afraid to actually confront, be in the epicenter of COVID-19. That was not one of my worries. I cannot explain to you why. I probably should have been worried about that. But I was mainly worried about leaving my kids behind and losing my job. I kept thinking about that, I did speak with them. They said, hey, you can go ahead and go. But I just felt like, what if I do lose my job, for trying to do this? I prayed. Said, I missed my phone call. They call you, you have to deploy within 24 to 48 hours. I missed my phone call because I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to go yet. I had all these doubt, all the doubt, all the fear. So I missed my phone call, and I just felt very heavy inside. I felt like I missed an opportunity, something that I really wanted to do.
Wow.
It takes hours. You have people that tell you stories of them calling for days, having their whole family call to get through the line. Everybody's trying to go. I prayed. I said, God, this is for me. I know you're going to send me a sign. I know that something's going to happen, and you're going to let me know that this is something that I have to do. I tried calling. Call didn't go through. They called me.
Wow.
They called me. They said, hey, we missed you on the last deployment. Are you ready to leave? You can either leave, that was Friday. You can either leave Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I said it was Easter weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
It was. Yeah, that's right.
I said I will go ahead and leave on Monday. I have to pack my stuff, take care of things, whatever you can take care of in those 48 hours, and that's what I did. That's how that happened.
That's amazing. So tell us about the experience, because we've seen what we see on the news, but what was your experience in being able to serve patients there in New York?
It was amazing. I actually had an opportunity to also work. I went to different facilities, but my main assignment was actually taking care of nurses that were getting sick. So taking care of my own, right?
Yeah.
That's what I got to do, and a lot of it, I truly, you do see the bad things that you hear about. There was a lot of sad stuff, a lot of death, yes, but there's also a lot of good. A lot of these people, me taking care of these nurses, what they really wanted is someone to take care of them like they're taking care of everybody else, and they don't all get that. A lot of it with me, I think, it was more of the connection that I built with these nurses, just checking on them. How are you feeling? Do you need anything? Mentally, emotionally supporting them, I think, was very important. It was very hard for everyone over there to be away from their families and deal with something that we've never dealt with before.
Yeah, I'm sure, because you were apart from your family because you were in a different city, a different state. But I would imagine even a lot of them were apart from their families just because of the risks.
Correct.
And not
Mostly
wanting to-
everyone that was over there was not from New York City. They were from all over the country.
Wow.
It was 12-hour shifts. It was 84 hours a week, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, no days off, sleep, work, sleep, work. And that's all you did. So it was very important to have support over there. I did have my one friend. I made amazing friends that I'm sure that are going to be friends for forever now. Build a lot of strong relationships, bonds with those people, but it's something that you need. I think as humans, we need that as well.
Yeah, I mean, God has made us to be in relationships with other people.
Correct.
And we don't thrive when we don't have those connections. I think that's been part of what's been hard, even for people who have not been touched at all by the virus. We've all been touched by the
Correct.
isolation.
Correct.
And that is
Very hard.
so hard. And I'm grateful for the way that you were able to bring not just human connection, but you were able to bring the Holy Spirit into the lives of these people and to share the love of Christ with them.
Yes.
Just to serve them and to bless them in Jesus' name. And I'm really grateful for that. Now you described a really daunting, an 84-hour work week, week after week after week.
Correct.
And not a low stress 84 hours at that. I mean, a pretty high stress situation.
Yes.
How were you able to find comfort and encouragement and hope in the Lord during those days?
If I can be 100% honest with you, you had a lot to do with that. There were times where you would send me a text and I really needed that one. That's the day that I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And you would send me something that would just keep me going. It would really encourage me. As I was telling you, before we started, I don't want to say I don't know how to pray, but I don't know if there's a correct way or not. I talk to him like my father, like my best friend, and I did that every single day, just talk to him. And that's what helped me. Every day, just talk to him. And it just made me stronger. Every day that I talk to him, the next day I will wake up, I'm like, I can do this, I'm gonna do this. That's all I have.
Yeah. And I love the simplicity of that, Ruth, because, and I think you're not alone. There's been a few other of our folks in the medical community that I've been sending messages to just as the Lord brings you and others who do your kind of work to mind during these months. And kind of just a small circle that I often kind of send text messages to, one right after the other when the Lord brings you all to mind. And the thing that I love about what you shared is just the simplicity of that trusting in the Lord and turning to him. And yeah, the Bible does teach us. There's lots of things the Bible teaches us about what to pray and how to pray and growing in those things. And it's good that we learn those things, but I think we can also allow those things to, in some ways, get in the way of us just bringing our hearts to the Lord. And like you said, we come to the Lord as our Father. And, I'm a father, you're a mother, and while we want our kids to learn how to speak in the right way, we don't say, oh, okay, well, don't bother talking to me until you can say that the right way.
Right.
I mean, no, we welcome them. In fact, we know the way they're going to learn to speak the way that we would want them to speak is precisely in that conversation with us. And that's where those things are changed. And so I'm grateful that the Lord really spoke to you in those times of reaching out to him, of being encouraged by praying with him daily, that daily rhythm of being in God's presence. And that's such an encouraging thing. And so now you're back here in Houston, and I'm sure you've had a period of quarantine that's gone with that. So I'm assuming you're finished as well with that because you're here today.
I am.
We're able to schedule this at a time after that, and so I'm grateful for that as well, and grateful that the Lord protected you during that time.
Thank you so much. I am too. And if I may add something that I did learn that I've seen myself grow is I've always considered myself a person of faith, whether, like I said, I don't know how to do this the way that I should. Ever since I can remember, I've always reached out to God for everything. I learned how to let go of worry. I'm not going to tell you that I've done that 100%. I'm not sure that we can do that 100%, but I was worried about everything. Things that I should be worried about, like I said, the kids. I was worried about
reasonable things to
the
have
job,
concerns about.
exactly.
Certainly.
And one day it was too much. I said, I'm not going to worry. I prayed for him to, if this is for me, he's going to make this happen. It's going to be possible. He's going to see me through it. So I said, I had to let go of this. I'm here for a reason. I prayed for this. And I got my answer, right? So why am I worried? I do not have the job that I had before. I have a better job now.
Wow.
I mean, the kids in their own way, different ages, are more independent, grateful, appreciative of, it's just so many wonderful things that it's brought to me. Like I said, friendships. I've grown as a nurse as well. In every way that you can think of, I feel like I've grown. And I've learned that I cannot sit here and worry. I need to let God take over. I need to, like you told me, take my burdens to him, ask him for help and not feel bad about it. You told me that in one of the texts that you sent me, he's not going to get tired of you asking. He's not going to get tired. And that's the reason that every day, please God, help me, please God, Yeah. So that's what I've learned.
Man, I'm so encouraged by that, Ruth. And I'm just encouraged that this difficult situation, most of us think, a time of difficulty like that's a time where anxiety just becomes impossible to escape. But you've actually experienced the Lord working in your heart where a time of intense difficulty and stress was a time where you learned to be free from anxiety.
Correct, yeah.
And because you were willing to follow in obedience, the Lord worked in your heart. And obviously everyone has a different journey. It's not that there's a formula to how we do these things, but I just love that picture of God's faithfulness, that as you took steps to love people the way that Jesus loved and to care for others' needs, the Lord took care of you. Yes. And he has taken care of your family, and you've seen this greater strength in yourself and your kids, in your faith from these days. And I'm so encouraged by that. I just wonder, as we're wrapping up this conversation, if there might be one of the verses that you would want to share that was especially encouraging to you during the time. You've referenced a couple of times some verses, and so why don't you share one with us that was especially encouraging to you?
I have two that really helped me. One of them is, you send this to me, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that encouraged me. I went back to that almost every day, to be honest. And if I may share one more, because this one really, really helped me as well. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Yeah.
And that's 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, that's from 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And you've seen the Lord bear that out. Those aren't just words for you.
Correct. So when you send that, that's one of my days when I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And then I just kept reading this over and over again, and it just made me feel better.
That's right.
It made me feel better.
Yeah, and what you learned was you couldn't do it anymore. And we do grow weary.
Exactly. Then I go to him, and exactly.
Yeah. And that's our hope.
That's how that works.
Well, I'm grateful for all of you, too, for joining in this conversation. So thanks for joining us for another Bear Creek conversation. I hope that it has been encouraging for you, just as it has been for me, to hear how God has been faithful, to take a time when even we're in weakness and to learn his strength. And I hope that whatever burdens you're carrying today, you would be ready to give those to the Lord. You'd be ready to offer those to him, to find his power made perfect even in your weakness. Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week for another Bear Creek conversation.